People don't like it when you speak negative about something they're passionate about, and that's what you're about to experience now, so brace yourself. It may seem like I'm belittling Halo 5 in its entirety, but keep in mind my sole purpose is to advise you to think, and provide awareness of problems that are concurrent in the franchise so we can fix them in the potential future. I'm sure you read the title of this video. Halo 5's population will die just like Halo 4's did, but not for the same reasons. Halo 4 failed because it was trying to be something that it wasn't, while Halo 5's populations will plummet because of its severity and lack of content and shortfall of community features. And don't kid yourself. According to Xbox Live's most popular list, Halo 5's population decline has already begun. Considering Halo 5 is the first truly next-gen Halo game, you'd assume that it would launch with a plethora of content and features to support its gameplay, but quite frankly that isn't the case. I see some people praise Halo 5, they slate it as being the best Halo game ever and claim that it will bring Halo back to what it initially achieved in its prime. I respect that opinion. Halo 5 is a good game, but how can a Halo game that is missing so much of what set it apart possibly be the best installment of the franchise and bring back lasting populations like the franchise did once before? It can't. And at its current state, it is not possible. Halo 5 has the lowest sales in Halo history. Shouldn't come surprising to you, because in terms of what it has to offer to the average gamer, Halo 5 features a mediocre campaign, an incomplete multiplayer experience, and Warzone. And as a result, Halo 5 is something that I would describe as a standard experience, since it offers nothing more than what we are already currently used to, in fact, less. Every game nowadays touts a story mode and multiplayer, but that's all Halo 5 does, and that's the initial problem. Halo used to exceed the gaming norm and offer tertiary game modes with features like Firefight, Forge, Spartan Ops, and File Share. Halo used to innovate, but because of being a standard experience, Halo 5 is turning Halo into a mere shadow of its former self. Imagine a company like Apple receive the new iPhone 6s, which offers faster performance, a 4K camera, and new 3D touchpad technology. What if instead of innovating these new features into the iPhone, they instead took them out and devalued the product entirely, offering only basic features like talk, text, and internet? An action such as that would be complete suicide to a company such as Apple, and the same concept is applicable to Halo 5. Halo 5 is taking essential features that were once included in previous Halo games and severing them entirely to offer a standard experience that features significantly less content. In regards to content and features, I still can't fathom 343's thought process in releasing a Halo game with more or less the same amount of content as Halo 2. Aren't sequels supposed to improve? Why is Halo 5 stepping backwards? In all honesty, I feel like Halo 5 has the potential to be one of the greatest Halos of all time, but its ignorance of content and lack of social features are holding back what its potential greatness could be. In my opinion, the amount of content that a game contains plays a crucial role in the longevity of its user base. If you were given the chance to create your own game, wouldn't you want to give your audience a reason to jump back in for more, offering different experiences and a surplus of content to support your gameplay? If you're smart, I hope you answered yes, because like me, you realize that having more game modes, features, and content would enrich the gameplay experience of Halo 5, all the while increasing the potential replay value, but the lack thereof only limits instead. Normally I like to compare Halo 5 to Titanfall. No, I'm not saying that Halo 5 is a Titanfall clone by any means, the games play absolutely nothing alike. But the sole reason I compare Halo 5 to Titanfall is for the simple fact that both games offer rock-solid gameplay, but fail to deliver in terms of content. Titanfall revolutionized gameplay in terms of the FPS genre, and Halo 5 undoubtedly nails the experience itself in its own way. But the problem that both of these games witnessed is that they both shipped with minimal content to show off its gameplay. As a result, Titanfall became a dead game months after launch because the awesome gameplay wasn't complemented by awesome content, and I predict the same is bound to happen to Halo 5. I literally picture a game's success in two different categories. On one side, you have gameplay, and on the other side, you have content. But the overall goal should be to make sure that both experiences are exceptional because they work in tandem. You can't expect a successful game with thriving populations by having one and not the other, and that's exactly what Halo 5 tries to do. Imagine you go to a 5-star quality restaurant, you're given a dish that is literally the size of a quarter. The food is good, delicious in fact, but the problem is you're only getting a taste of what the food has to offer. That's exactly how Halo 5 is. The gameplay is good, but we're only getting a mere taste of what should have been the full Halo experience. Then I constantly hear the argument people throw around claiming that more content will be added to Halo 5 in future updates and Halo 5 will be getting free DLC so it's no big deal, stop your bitching. But what these people fail to realize is that it's the first impression that counts. I'd say that garnering a good first impression from your audience is a crucial part of a game's long-term success. Think about the Xbox One before it released. Oh yeah, it doesn't play used games, it's always online 24/7, and you need internet connection to play and all the complaints alike. And today, we see the PS4 dominating the Xbox One in terms of sales because the damage had already been done. A negative stigma was attached to the Xbox One, resulting in less sales and more PS4 sales. Even the Halo MCC experienced a similar scenario. It wouldn't work and had game-breaking bugs months after launch, and as a result left bad impressions for one of the most nostalgic Halo releases of all time. Although the MCC was eventually playable, the people who originally left did not magically come back. Why? You never get a second chance to make a good first impression, and the same concept applies to Halo 5. Many gamers bought Halo 5 and they ended up let down by the mediocre campaign and lack of content in its repetitive multiplayer. Matt likes Halo 5 and says, "Hey Greg, you should get Halo 5, this game is awesome, it's absolutely insane dude." So Greg gets Halo 5 and they play together and enjoy the experience that it has to offer. That's how it should be, in a perfect world, if Halo 5 launched the way it was supposed to. But let's jump back into reality. We get an unfinished Halo game that is stripped of many of its essential features that made it successful once before. Matt finds out that there's no Forge mode, no split screen, no firefight, no Spartan Ops, no file share, limited custom games, limited multiplayer modes, and a lack of unique maps that contain variety. This game blows, dude. Don't buy it. Get Black Ops 3 instead. Then Greg says, "Yeah, I think you're right, man." That example is quite dramatic, but do you get the concept? Halo 5 set a bad first impression, and the damage is already done. The majority of the player base that already left won't magically come back for an update that contains more content because, again, the damage has already been done and they already moved on to other games that set a good first impression. Halo 5 simply missed its window of opportunity to impress gamers and is suffering because of it. You have to understand that not everyone is like you or me at heart. We are true Halo fans and we want to see the series excel like once before. So of course when Forge launches and Halo gets additional title updates, we'll dive back into its multiplayer. But I'll say it once more. You have to come to the realization that there are people who only play for the short term and never return. So let's get down to the nitty gritty and examine some of Halo 5's shortfalls in terms of content and community features. There are many things missing in Halo 5, but I'm only going to talk about the important ones that I think potentially impact populations. So let's get started with the campaign. Before Halo 5 came out, 343 hyped their campaign mode up to be the biggest the series has ever seen before, featuring mass open worlds that players could explore. Here I dive into Halo 5's campaign expecting something along those lines, and I find out that it's nothing like 343 described. Halo 5's campaign does not feature mass, open worlds, and it gets repetitive and stale quickly. In other words, once completed, there is no real reason to come back to the campaign. Likewise, one of the biggest game modes that Halo 5 is missing at its launch is Forge mode, the community tool that has helped congregate so many gamers before, leading to endless content and an abundance of fun and community-inspired game modes, now gone and released until later December. I think it's insanity to delay one of Halo's most important game modes, and Forge should have launched at release in a working state. Not only that, but staple Halo game modes like Infection, Assault, Oddball, and King of the Hill are all axed from Halo 5 and probably aren't even programmed into the game since you can't even access them in custom games. It's a real slap in your face to your classic audience of gamers to not feature any of these important game modes at launch, but with missing game modes in mind, custom games are also severely limited in Halo 5, and I find it very disappointing that 343 tore many of the settings that we previously had before in every other Halo game prior. There's a huge list, but things like not being able to set respawn trace, and we can't even change the type of weapon to spawn on a map anymore. And it's decisions like these that make me question if 343 really understand the concept of what made Halo games so successful in the past. Recall back to the days of Halo Reach and Halo 3, where the biggest part of the games were its community and social experiences, such as custom games and Forge, which played a crucial role in the longevity of its player base. These community features built a golden Halo community and inspired many game modes with thriving multiplayer populations, which lead me to believe the absence of Forge mode at launch literally destroys that concept and is self-destructive at its core. Instead of delaying Forge, make it more accessible to everyone. Add a custom game browser, make a Forge multiplayer playlist, innovate, allow people to take full advantage of one of the best features that Halo games have to offer. Halo 5's multiplayer front is also severely lacking. When you hit that multiplayer option and scroll through the menu, you're only presented with the following game modes: Team Arena, Team Slayer, Big Team Battle, SWAT, Free-for-all, and Breakout. Obviously, this is a limited experience compared to many of the other Halo games before. I mean, look at playlists that Halo 3 launched with. We had the Ranked playlist featuring Lone Wolves, Team Slayer, Team Objective, Team Tactical, and Team Doubles. But wait, then we also had a variety of social playlist offerings featuring Rumble Pit, Social Slayer, Social Skirmish, Big Team Battle, Multi-Team, and even Social Doubles. This made sense. The offering that we once had before better catered to the community, because everyone there had a surplus of playlists at their fingertips, therefore more content and different experiences for every player, all the while alleviating the repetitiveness of multiplayer rather than restricting our multiplayer audience of gamers to only a select few playlists. Halo 5 also tries to split its multiplayer into two separate gameplay experiences in a broad attempt to appeal to two different types of audiences. We have the Arena, the competitive modes that appeal to gamers like me, and then we have the Warzone mode, the casual playlist that appeals to casual gamers. Sounds like a good idea. Let's create a game for two different audiences so they can play the game the way they want to in their own way. But instead you ended up alienating one audience in favor of another. Allow me to further explain. As it stands, the casual crowd of gamers, and arguably the most populous crowd that play Halo 5, have a lot less to do in the multiplayer portion of the game. Halo 5 really only has two playlists to offer to casual gamers, Warzone and Warzone Assault. Both of these game modes offer 6 maps total with little to no variation between them, forcing casual players to consistently play Warzone and only Warzone, which will undoubtedly end up becoming stale because there are only 2 game modes for that casual crowd of gamers. So what happens when that casual crowd becomes bored of Warzone and wants to play Slayer or any other game mode besides Warzone? Well, at this point, they have to dive headfirst in a competitive arena playlist and are forced to play ranked games. I know what you're thinking, or probably screaming in your mind right now. 343 are updating the game to eventually support social playlists. But again, refer back to what I was previously talking about when I mentioned setting a good first impression. Just because something will launch in the future does not mean people will stick around waiting for it in the present. That casual crowd will probably have a hard time competing with the other players in the competitive playlist, and as a result, would not enjoy the experience. There's another potential problem in the ranking system, playing 10 placement matches to determine your overall rank in a playlist. Okay, what happens when Jimmy gets piggybacked by his teammates in his first 10 games of Team Slayer and ends up winning 8 out of the 10 games? Jimmy then gets put into the Onyx division, and poor casual Jimmy ends up getting decimated by the competition because he truly does not deserve a rank as high as Onyx, and he's stuck playing tryhards that literally obliterate him as soon as he spawns, since you can't drop a rank from losing a game. Not only that, but the ranking system 343 introduced to Halo 5 requires a steady population to be successful, because less players playing Halo 5 will result in unfair matchups that essentially render divisions meaningless. I mean, what's the point of being in Onyx if you're only facing people in gold? Halo 5 critically needs social playlists in its multiplayer to appeal to more of the casual crowd of gamers who are currently held captive in the Warzone playlist. How is this even relevant to Halo's population, Weapons? Casual gamers consist of larger portions than competitive players, which is why they are just as equally as important to Halo's population. Remember when Halo was a shared experience? Everybody who played Halo just simply played Halo, and we all sailed under the same flag. True Halo fans. With Halo 5, that concept is flawed because of the separation between the casual crowd and the competitive crowd. Then let's talk about the maps. When I think about the maps in Halo 5, I can't recall any that are comparable to awesome maps like Guardian or Lockout. The maps that Halo 5 offers are mediocre in their design. I think one of the most important things an online multiplayer game needs to nail is map design, and the arena maps that Halo 5 offers are lackluster. If you watched my previous videos, you might already be aware that I was always skeptical about that 21 map count advertisement. Halo 5 has a limited amount of maps tied to each specific game mode. I constantly hear people complain about this, considering they play Plaza 10 times in a row, and things start to get stale playing the same 5 maps in a random sequence. This currently makes Halo 5's multiplayer boring and repetitive instead of fresh and amusing. Not only that, but the maps lack originality. Halo 5's maps are basic in their design and offer little to no difference in theme. You know, that commonly occurring military UNSC theme? Yeah, it gets annoying. I can recall playing Halo 3, a game that launched with a surplus of maps featuring Guardian, Snowbound, The Pit, and notice how all these maps have unique themes, color palettes, and even variation. Halo 5's maps lack this variety and become stale because of it. I don't think we even scratched the surface yet. There are still more things wrong with Halo 5's multiplayer, and I'm shocked 343 didn't learn from their mistakes through the MCC in Halo 4. Still, we have no multiplayer lobbies, less customization, and most importantly, we are just completely missing things that should have been there at launch. Where is Griffball? Why doesn't the game display my rank to other players? Where is split screen? The overall point I'm trying to address is that there is undoubtedly a lack of content in Halo 5's multiplayer, ranging from many things that at the end of the day, they add up to negatively affect the overall experience as a whole. You still might have a different opinion than mine regarding Halo 5's lack of content being the reason behind its decline. And honestly, I'm okay with that. But overall, I'm hoping I caused you to think critically about Halo 5's shortfalls, and I'm sure 343 recognized some of Halo 5's issues, which make me hopeful. Instead of sticking up for 343, we need to let them be aware of their flaws in Halo 5's design so they can fix their mistakes in Halo 6. Like I previously mentioned before, I'm sure you heard the news. Halo 5 is the lowest selling Halo game of all time, and honestly, I'm not surprised. If you were expecting Halo 5 to sell a heap ton and bring back the series to its golden experience, then you thought wrong. The Halo franchise is falling apart before your very own eyes, and we need to find a solution before Halo 6 arrives. I really hope I made sense, and I'm hoping I got my points across in a respectable manner. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and share. Regardless of where you stand, comment your thoughts, concerns on Halo 5 and its lack of content negatively affecting its overall population. As always, subscribe to Weapons Grade to view more content about the future of Halo and gaming in general. Peace.
Happen eventually.